This is chocolate ganache, and this also is chocolate ganache. They're the same chocolate ganache, but in two different varieties, and I'm going to show you how you can make this because it's perfect for your cake decorating. So watch this video on the end to learn how to make chocolate ganache and whipped chocolate ganache. First of all, get your chocolate. You want it to be into very small pieces. So here I'm breaking up the bar chocolate into smaller pieces. I'm using chocolate designed for baking. This is what I would recommend. I'm going to further chop the chocolate using a kitchen knife into smaller pieces. To save time, you could just blist it in a food processor, but if you don't have a food processor, you can just chop it off. The other ingredients I'm using is double cream. Now I'm using a ratio of 1:1, so I'm using the same amount of double cream and chocolate. You're going to heat up the double cream on the stove for about 2 to 3 minutes until it gets hot enough, but not long enough that your cream starts scalding. So that's my heated up cream, and you're just going to pour it on top of the chocolate that you have chopped. We are going to leave this for about 5 minutes. So once you've poured in the heated cream, cover the bowl with some cling film. That traps all the heat inside the bowl, allowing that to start to gradually melt your chocolate. So set that aside for 5 minutes, and then you're going to start to mix your cream and chocolate together. Initially, you're just going to do it slowly. You'll find that the cream and the chocolate really don't want to get together, but just keep whisking in just one direction, nice and gently, in a sort of an 8 shape, like what I'm doing here. And eventually, you'll see that the chocolate and the cream will start to get together, and you can start to see that actually you're seeing more of a ganache consistency. So here is our ganache that it's ready and done, nice, silky, smooth, no lumpy bits, but it's not quite ready to be used yet. This is too watery. If you try to use this to decorate your cake, it will be very messy. So we need to allow the ganache to start to set. You want to cover the ganache completely, so the cling film should be actually touching the surface of the chocolate, so that when the chocolate sets, it doesn't form like a skim or a skin, and which is not really good for your cake decorating. We're going to set that aside for a couple of hours to set. And now you can see that my chocolate ganache has now set. It's looking more like what they call peanut butter consistency. So it's much thicker than the initial ganache, but not too thick. If you've left it for too long, or if you've left it overnight and it's too thick, you can just warm it up slightly in the microwave for a couple of seconds. Now, this is the whipped process. So whipping your chocolate ganache incorporates air and makes it light and fluffy. You can start to see that the color consistency is changing. It's now looking a little bit lighter brown. I like to use whipped chocolate ganache in the filling of my cake because it's much nicer to eat. And then I use the initial chocolate ganache that I'm showing here. This I will use to cover the outside of the cake. So we've learned how to make chocolate ganache for decorating cakes and whipped chocolate ganache, which is a perfect alternative to frosting. Now, if you haven't subscribed to Dr. Mummycakes channel, you are missing out big time. Click the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my great tutorials.